Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one for your Friday weekly recap today, guys. Bit of a red day in the markets overall here as technology took a heck of a dip, but we did get some earnings here from our financial side and one major healthcare company, United Health. So we'll take a look at a few of those earnings, JP Morgan, BlackRock, and United Health very briefly. And then, of course, cover our major indexes, our major tech names, and our portfolio towards the end as well here, guys. So without further ado, we were expecting a pullback, and indeed, we did get it today as we continue seeking for the daily higher lows on our charts here. So let's get right into some charts. Yeah, SPY down 0.5%, QQQ down 1.26% on the day here, guys. If you take a look at the heat map, you will see that most of our technology was down here. Tesla, Meta, NVIDIA, 3% down days, and the rest of the market fairly mixed here, guys. We did have positives on financials and healthcare. For the most part, defensives and energy performing quite well, but very mixed market, just not enough, guys. Big tech pulling back way too much to keep SPY green after being our lead bulls. On the one-day relative performance here, guys, you'll see the market was led by energy, utilities, defensives, and healthcare, and then we had a lot of major sectors in the red here, guys, led once again by technology, cyclicals, and communication services here. So not a very good day, but on the 1 week relative, you'll see that most, if not all of our major indexes here did put in either some break evens or some good gains to the upside here. What you don't want to see, though, is energy pushing too high with the yields as well. But luckily enough today, the yields, as you can see here on the 10-year, were for the most part down. So interest rates coming down a bit here on the speculation side should be good for the markets. But today, unfortunately, both moving in the same directions, yield coming down and the markets coming down as well here. So let's get into some technical analysis right away, shall we? So we were always expecting the pullback here on SPY. We finally got it. Yesterday's video, I was saying if we crack today's low, we were going to make a lower low here and your daily consolidation was underway. It's exactly what's happening, guys. So the bulls with a decent amount of space to work with here, but need to see a higher low set above 420.5 to really give themselves a chance here at setting your daily uptrend, guys, because we are still, I'll remind you, in a weekly downtrend. So any bounce up is just for a lower high below 452, right? Lower high. And then we'll see, can the bulls hold on and reset this weekly uptrend into the end of October and early November, or will the bears just take us for another third potential leg down into further weekly consolidation? Size of the bounce was decent, guys, but I don't like how this weekly candle closed with the last 2 days of trading. So we'll see how next week plays out. Going to be a very big week. Tesla and Netflix coming out with earnings, a few more as well, Taiwan Semiconductors, and a bunch more earnings, guys, that I don't have time to talk about, but it's going to be a very big next few weeks, 2-3 weeks. Earnings season is going to be crucial for this market. So we'll see, can the bulls continue here, right? What they need to do, need to set the daily uptrend here, guys, and continue this weekly move, because the size of this bounce is not high enough to convince me that they can put in the weekly uptrend reversal here. It may just be for the weekly downtrend continuation. At that point, we'd be heading lower, 420, 410 here, guys. So let's keep an eye on that. The next few weeks, earnings will be the ones moving this market. QQQ rejecting from our trend line here. Trend line set all the way back in July. I hadn't posted this on the chart, but I've been watching out for it, guys. QQQ with a very nice bounce here. Daily uptrend is still confirmed here. We're looking for a higher low. Anything above 354, looking for the higher low to continue our daily uptrend and smash this trend line here to the upside. Can the bulls do it? We will see. QQQ on the weekly as well. Still in a weekly downtrend. We did get the lower high here, and now remains to be seen. Can the bulls continue this daily uptrend here and continue this weekly bounce? It's been 3 decent weeks here off the lows, but if they can't get above this trend line here, guys, it's going to be very tough, right? We could just continue to tighten up here and then potentially explode, right? But need to see the bulls continue this daily uptrend. The daily trends, guys, are the most important in my opinion right now. We are in weekly downtrends. So the only way you reverse these weekly downtrends is by continuing solid daily uptrends until you've recaptured so much of this weekly down move that the weekly lower high and weekly trend change is most probable. Now, let's move on to financials, guys. Financials with a nice little green day here, 0.21% to the upside. That was largely fueled by most of the financials names having decent earnings. So you can see, we'll pull up JP Morgan here. JP Morgan actually had a beautiful quarter, guys, but they gave back almost the entire move intraday. Look at this, guys. They gave up 3.5% off this massive candle. Not looking good into the end of the day in terms of the close here, but they did beat. Very solid beat, guys. Beat on earnings by a very wide margin, 10%, and they did beat on revenue as well. Quickly, the headlines here. right? They did top the analyst expectations for profit and revenue. The revenue climbed 21%, guys. That is very, very, very big. And the CEO, Jamie Dimon, of course, legend, acknowledged that the biggest U.S. bank by assets was over-earning on net interest income and below normal credit costs that will both normalize over time. So how did they make most of this money, guys? Is the interest that they are charging clients because rates are higher. All of the major banks reported mostly the same, that they're earning a tremendous amount of interest from their clients, from new loans and whatnot, from credit cards. Their banking division did very, very, very well. And that was the reason for most of the increases here. You also had another major name, BlackRock, right? Who manages so many ETFs and ETF suites in the market, guys. But their earnings, they slightly missed on revenue. Beat on net earnings here by so much, guys. Net earnings was beat by 31%. That is absolutely ridiculous. But they slightly missed here on revenue. You could see by $1 million. In the grand scheme of things, on $4.52 billion, they missed by $1 million. They're down 1%. Why are they down by 1%, guys? Well, it's very, very simple. They're net inflows, right? So here's the thing. BlackRock signals M&A hunger. This is mergers and acquisitions hunger. So they want to do more M&A deals, right? After sharp drop in inflows. So what's been happening to their ETFs, guys, is the fact that, considering the fact that yields are so high, clients have been moving money into savings account or high yield interest accounts and moving away from buying ETFs during market uncertainty. So you obviously know that BlackRock, being a major ETF provider, makes most of their money when people buy their ETFs, and they can then charge them the yearly management fees. So unfortunately for them, their inflows, meaning the money that they're getting poured into their ETFs, has dropped, as a lot of clients are now favoring just staying out of the market in cash, placing it in high yield, either money market funds or savings accounts. So that's what hurt BlackRock as a whole. Overall, this company, though, is extremely well positioned, guys. It's BlackRock, one of my favorite stocks in the entire market, still just trading here a bit lower here. So that's pretty much it for your major financials. I won't go through the rest of the banks. Those are the most important in my opinion. Financials, decent day here. We're still looking for the daily higher low to set the daily uptrend here. In my opinion, not enough of this weekly move has been captured here. Need to see them get at least to $34, $35 level or $34, $34.50 level, and then we can talk about this weekly trend reversal. But as of now, still a weekly downtrend at this point is still in effect, right? So what you need to see the bulls set the daily uptrend, and that only happens if you crack 33.65. Set the daily higher low here, crack 33.65, get me above this 200 daily moving average here, and your weekly bounce will be well underway. Need to see the weekly come above these moving averages, and they're sitting at 34. If you want to see the potential of your weekly trend reversal, as of now, the bears still control the weekly downtrend. So that's why these daily trends are crucial. Can they set the daily uptrends, right? Haven't had one since back here, since we fell off a cliff end of September, right? So that is what you need to see on financials. I'll keep reminding you guys, if we do continue to come down on financials, my sweet spot, 31 down to $30, very decent area for me to be picking up some shares in the form of short puts. I'll be writing some options down there if we do come down there. And now XLV Healthcare. XLV Healthcare also with a positive day, 0.63% to the upside. A lot of names in healthcare were green today, pretty much fueled by UNH, right? UNH, one of your major names in this. The rest not doing too much, but UNH, a major contributor, up almost 3% on the day after they had very, very strong earnings, guys, right? I'll pull them up really, really briefly. You will see that they beat by a very substantial margin, guys, right? So they beat on earnings here by about 3.57%. They beat revenue here by 1%. They upped guidance, however, for the next year by about 14%. And that's what really gave them the lift on their shares, right? So very, very, very solid earnings report by UNH, one of our major healthcare players here. You can see that they're well back on their way to grinding back up to the all-time highs. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekly uptrend in motion here, right? So UNH, one of our lead bulls in the entire healthcare sectors. There's a lot of other stocks in healthcare that are kind of lagging behind. So UNH is going to be one of our lead bulls. If this one turns around, guys, right? Well, then it won't be looking good for your healthcare sector as a whole. But as of now, we are looking still like financials, looking for the daily higher low and daily higher high here. 131.62, need to see that break here potentially next week to really set this daily uptrend in motion. On the weekly, same thing, right? This is such a big bear move down here that I need to see the bulls continue to push at least to the 133.5 level to really be confident that they set up a crucial space for your weekly trend change. So once again, daily uptrend is crucial here to get by the bulls. We have not had a daily uptrend on XLV here since pretty much all the way back here in July, right? Daily uptrend and then reversal and then another push here. So all the way since July, guys, it's been so long in healthcare that we've just been trending downwards. So it remains to be seen. Can the bulls do it? Or will we just be plagued by another little upswing here and then future downtrend? If we do downtrend, guys, expect this area to act as good support, 127 down to 126. There are a few names that I am looking out for healthcare. I'll mention them if they come here, but as of now, not really looking at anything in the sector for the next week or so. I'm more interested in tech. Now, IWM Russell. IWM Russell, guys, not the best 2 days as a whole, guys, right? So we were looking at the size of this daily bounce. The daily bounce was good in relation to this drop right here, right? But unfortunately, just falling apart here in the last 2 days, guys, already back to our lows. So if the bears do flush this and continue the daily downtrend, and as a result, just continue your nasty, nasty weekly downtrend as well, well, you guys know that we're coming into my sweet spot. My sweet spot is below 170, almost there, all the way down to the 162, 160 level here. This area has been monthly support for the longest time, so I do expect it to not be able to be broken that easily by the bears. So if we do continue trading down into this level, we are going to be writing some options on this. I've been waiting for this for a while. I do believe that now the Russell is getting into some pretty deep value. And I don't believe, guys, that the media negativity is really going to stay around here. We're still trading, guys. I'll remind you, still trading at fear levels, right? We were just at extreme fear just 1 week ago. We were below this 25 mark here. So a lot of negativity in the market since pretty much the beginning of August here. And I do expect that to turn around here, guys. Obviously, we have a lot of earnings coming up, but I don't expect the macro to be that bad over the foreseeable next 3 to 6 months, guys. I actually think it's going to be quite good. So remains to be seen what's going to happen with this chart here. Just know that if it does come down to this area, I will be writing some options. Now, Dow Jones. Dow Jones, obviously, not having the best day in the world, but not having the worst day in the world, kind of inside trading with yesterday's and Wednesday's candle as well. Still waiting on the same thing for the Dow Jones. Can we confirm these daily uptrends, guys? The only one to have done it so far is QQQ. And now we're just waiting once again for them to reconfirm. But even the Dow Jones, guys, never set the daily uptrend. I like the size of this bounce in relation to this most recent down move here. But the bounce means nothing if you can't at least confirm a daily uptrend, guys. We have not had a daily uptrend confirm on the Dow Jones since all the way back here in June, right? So it's been a long time on the Dow Jones that we've been waiting for this. Can they do it this time? Or are we just going to continue our weekly downtrend into our area of support here, right? 33,000 all the way down to 32,500-ish is going to be that major level. That is a major level, I'll remind you, on the monthly here. So I do expect the bulls to be putting up some support here, right? So daily chart is absolutely crucial here. Next week is going to be crucial for this, guys. Can we set the daily uptrends on most of these indexes, or will the bears just continue to roll us over? It is now the bulls' time to prove to us that they want to play some defense. Now let's move on to our major tech names, yeah? So major tech also pulling down. You'll see this is a common thread across the board here. As I've shown you guys on the heat map, all of these companies are going to look the same. So Apple finally ending its little upswing here with one pretty decent red day here. So still looking for the daily higher low and for daily uptrend continuation. Apple, once again, we have not seen an uptrend on Apple since the August lows right here when they did it and then fell apart. So we will see, can they muster up a daily uptrend in their favor and really start clawing back more of this weekly move, guys? Or are the bears going to get another chance to potentially test our lows before we maybe make that move, right? But one thing's for sure, guys, in the next week, if we continue trading below and down here into the 175 to 170 area, it will be once again writing some shares of Apple in this area. I love this area on Apple, guys. So as of now, bulls with a very nice move, but doesn't mean anything if we can't confirm the daily uptrend similar to all of our indexes. All right, now we're going to be looking at AMD. AMD doing exactly what we expected it to do, right? Pullback. We are looking for the higher low. Anything above 99.30 is just going to be looking for the higher low, coming down hard here, 3.4%, right? So very negative momentum on the day, running into our moving averages, running almost into our horizontal support area at 104. If AMD over the next few days, guys, pulls back here all the way into the 104, 103, I'll be looking once again to write some options here, right down here, $100 to $98. But so far, daily uptrend is being maintained by the bulls. Remains to be seen, can we put in a third leg here and really give our weekly bulls more of a chance here at resetting that weekly uptrend here? So I don't like this weekly candle too much. It does lead me to believe that the beginning of next week could potentially be negative here, and then we may be able to set some form of a weekly uptrend here over the next 2 to 3 weeks. But the daily bulls have created a lot of space. Now they need to hold it and continue this daily uptrend. I need to see them, guys, get up to about 112, 113 and start closing in this area, guys, to really give the weekly bulls a chance here at really engulfing this most recent down leg, right? So remains to be seen. Well, remains to be seen what's going to happen next week. One thing's for sure, guys, I'm writing options if we come down into this area once again. Now, Amazon, excuse me, guys. So Amazon pulling back as well, almost 2% down on Amazon. Amazon setting the daily uptrend here. Pullback was to be expected. We got it today. Anything above 124 is just going to be looking for your daily high or low for daily uptrend continuation here, right? On the weekly, doesn't look too bad, but not looking the greatest either. Gave a lot of the gains back here today in one single day. I would have liked this weekly candle to close pretty much green and continue to push into these levels more, because this bounce on Amazon just isn't high enough in my opinion, guys. So it remains to be seen. Can the bulls prove these daily uptrends here? And on the weeklies, that's going to translate to weekly moves being recaptured. All of this September and October negativity, guys, the bulls have to start putting more and more work into it. If for some reason we do just start coming down here, you guys know my sweet spot, anything pretty much in the 121 all the way down to 110 area is going to be the area that I'm targeting. But so far, bulls holding on to this daily uptrend. Can they set the higher low here and resume and really give us more juice here on the weekly, guys? As of now, I'm not fully convinced. You know that we lost the weekly uptrend on Amazon here. So are the bears just going to set this lower high right here and then push for a second weekly leg down here? Remains to be seen. But one thing's for sure, Amazon earnings here coming up in about 13 days, right? So very, very close. That's going to be make or break. But in my opinion, guys, Amazon should report a pretty good quarter. So if they can at least maintain this in a daily uptrend, or maybe even if they can maintain this in a tightening range through earnings, that would be best case scenario. After that, I do think earnings should be pretty positive on Amazon as a whole. So we're going to keep an eye on that closely. Now let's move down to Google. Google also with coming down here 1.22%. So now Google lining up 2 pretty decent red days here, but Google with our lot of space here, it is our lead bull with Meta. Meta also pulling back today. So Google looking to set the daily higher low. Google is the best positioned across all our bulls here on the daily to set a daily higher low. Potentially, I want them to stop at most at the 135 area, right? Stop at 135 and make the daily uptrend push here. On the weekly is still looking good. Google is still in a weekly uptrend here. So any further daily pullback is also going to be for a potential weekly higher low, just continuing this uptrend here into the end of October. Google with earnings in 2 weeks, 24th of October. We'll see how that goes. But bulls looking fairly healthy, guys. No red flags. I just need them to not cut too deep into this move, guys. That's the key here. I want them to get stopped by the moving averages and continue their rise higher. Google a bit too rich for me. I would prefer Google more in the lower 120s. Don't know if it's going to get there, guys. I do think that Google is going to have a pretty good quarter on reporting as well. So we will see how it plays out on Google. But Google looking fairly decent, not giving back too much in relation to the size of this move here. Now let's look at Meta. Meta a bit the same, right? Meta, however, with a 3% down day running into some support here from the 12 EMA, and your daily uptrend is looking fairly healthy. So now on Meta, just as we were saying in the previous days, this whole area here, 310, is going to be acting. Previous resistance is now going to be previous support. So we are in the confluence zone. Moving averages and your horizontal support, that is what I'm looking for to hold up Meta at these levels here. Very negative day, but we were expecting the pullback here, guys. So at this point, anything above 298.60 is just going to be for your daily higher low for daily uptrend continuation. On the weekly looking good as well. Weekly uptrend is confirmed, but if we do pull back next week for some reason, guys, just looking for your weekly higher low, anything above 287. Is just also for your weekly higher low here, potentially just continuing to grind higher as Meta has been known to do all year. Earnings here coming up also in 2 weeks, same day as pretty much Amazon, Wednesday, 25th of October. So we will see how they do on that, but I think it should be a good quarter for Meta as well. Should be a decent quarter for all of major tech guys, to be honest with you guys. And considering the fact that they don't run much debt as a whole, interest rates won't really be plaguing their net EPS, right? So we'll see how they perform, but Meta working with a decent amount of space, similar to Google. No real red flags as well, just a normal pullback in my opinion. Now let's move on to Microsoft. Microsoft, decent little down day as well, 1%, but Microsoft is in your daily uptrend right now. Pullback days expected, daily consolidation underway here, running into our moving averages around 325, right? So we need to set the daily higher low, continue this move up. Anything above 311 is just going to be a daily higher low setup for further trend continuation of the upside in Microsoft's quest to further take back more of this most recent downtrend, weekly downtrend. Still, we're trying to take back most of it to set up a weekly uptrend reversal here, something that takes time, of course. Microsoft with earnings here, Tuesday, 24th of October. That's going to be a very big week for a lot of these companies, guys, right? So Microsoft should be reporting good earnings, in my opinion, as well. We will definitely see what happens, but bulls have created a lot of space here and looking fairly healthy on this weekly as well. So we need the bulls to just continue holding for the next 2 weeks until the earnings. And then I think earnings could potentially send us back above 340 if they're really good, guys. If we can just hold tight here, right, for earnings, it's very possible that we do get that break of 340. But as of now, no real red flags. I like how much space the bulls have created. Just need to see potentially another leg up here to really consolidate the fact that we've recaptured most of this move. Similar on a lot of names, I'll remind you. NVIDIA down 3% here today, finally with a big red day on NVIDIA after 7 days of up. We get 1 day of down. This is pretty much the same thing as this move right here. So NVIDIA, nice little daily uptrend here. Anything still above 434 is just going to be a daily higher low for further trend continuation. No real red flags on NVIDIA. Not much negative news either, right, on NVIDIA, just pulling back with the rest of the market here. So they are looking fairly healthy on the daily here, just looking for a pullback and daily uptrend continuation here. We'll see if the rest of the markets can get it done. And on the weekly here, weekly has definitely bounced a lot in relation to this. I showed the fib the last few videos. I'll remind you, bounced up almost 80%. So going to be very tough for the bears to completely flush this in one clean shot. In my opinion, may just have to reset here for a weekly higher low and move higher here if they're not able to V-shape this. But as a whole, guys, just going to let the bulls start playing some defense here and we'll see. But get too close to this level and you set yourself up for the rollover. So a lot of these stocks are the same, guys. The bounces have been good. Bounces have been good in relation to the weeklies here, but I need to see that one final step, get me up and then set it and then weekly reversal. And once the weekly reversals are in, guys, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be smooth sailing thereafter. But as of now, we're still dealing with uncertainty. Seasonality should be start to playing in our favor here over the next 2-3 weeks and into 2 months into the end of the year. So just remember that. And now lastly, Tesla, our last three here. Tesla pulling back 3% as well here, guys, right? So daily uptrend was confirmed here. And now we have a decent little pullback here. So Tesla losing a bit of ground. But as I was saying, guys, that's to be expected in terms of earnings here. I don't expect some big moves before earnings. Earnings next Wednesday. Going to be a very big day for Tesla, guys. At this point, they're kind of in the middle of this move. So earnings can send it either way. We're either going to come back down to these lows around 235 or we're going to crack these 268 highs, guys. It's all profit margins and EPS. Remember those two things, right? Decrease in deliveries, but nobody knows how that translates to EPS, earnings per share, and net profit margins. So be looking out for that definitely, guys. But now the bears are challenging this daily uptrend that we have going right here, right? So on the weekly, it's more clear on the weekly. Clear as day for me. 235 is your line in the sand level for the weekly. Lose this, it becomes a new weekly downtrend, and we look out for my sweet spot to more support. But if you crack the 279 area to the upside, then you have a new weekly uptrend. So we're really battling right here in between two key levels that could take, you know, a few weeks to resolve after that. If you smash these highs, we may have to pull back for a little bit. If you smash these lows here, then you can potentially look for the weekly uptrend reversal into Q4 here. So either of the situations, either one of these breaks will take a long time to resolve thereafter. So position accordingly. I definitely am not going to be playing Tesla into next week. Too much uncertainty for me. So I will be waiting for the earnings to come out before making any trades here. But I need to see bulls hold up as close as possible to this 260 level next week to give themselves the best chance here at attacking this 279 off of a bullish earnings result. And now Palantir also pulling back, right? Pulling back to be expected as soon as this move topped up. looking for the daily higher low here. Look down here, guys. 1670 is the area. That's previous horizontal support, and it's also your moving average confluence, right? So just keep that in mind. Going to be looking for the daily higher low. Palantir has created a lot of space. No real red flags. This is just normal market movement at this point. Weekly uptrend is confirmed as well. Tons of space. Anything above 1376 is just going to be for your weekly higher low. In the event, guys, that we pull back even further on the daily, your weekly next week would also start coming down a little bit. So much space to set these weekly higher lows for weekly uptrends as well. So keep an eye on that for Palantir. But I do like it, guys. It's just a bit too high for me to be playing options or buying shares right now. But Bull's in control of the daily and in control of the weekly as well. So no real red flags, guys. Just looking for them to kind of persist and continue to grind higher, leaning into their potential earnings here November 2nd. And lastly, PayPal. PayPal, unfortunately, guys, cracked the lows. New 52-week lows for our poor PayPal here. So it's very unfortunate, guys, but we were in a tightening range here for a while, and the bulls could not get it done. Bears capitalizing, finally flushing all the way down into the 55. So I'll remind you, if we do break down below 55, I will be looking for some options below 55 all the way down to $50 to average into my PayPal positions here. Very, very unfortunate, but as of now, guys, daily downtrend is reconfirmed, and your weekly downtrend simply continues, as it's always been a weekly downtrend here ever since July, pretty much. No getting out of that. Now the bulls have a lot of work to do, guys. If you want the bulls to recapture this coming next week, remains the same. Need to start getting above your $59, $60, give an engulfing move, and then set your daily uptrend. But for now, full bear control here. Any little bounce will be expected to be getting rejected. Look at this 12 EMA. It's just been unable for the bulls to break through this yellow line, this 12 EMA. So as soon as I see a break of that, that's when I'll know that the move is potentially real, and I'll be looking for further upside. But as of now, it does look that the bears are in full control. So we will see where they go for their new lows here, but not looking the best. But valuation now is getting very, very attractive. So that's pretty much it for our major tech stocks. Now let's look at my portfolio. Went down, guys, right? So now we are down against the S&P 500 portfolio up to about 29%. S&P 500 here chilling at about 13%. And against the NASDAQ, you will see that we are now, unfortunately, tied with the NASDAQ after today's trading, 28.72. And the NASDAQ, well, that was yesterday, but today they were down about 1.23%. So they should be at 28.5. We're kind of just above them right now here, so pretty much in line. And you will see my positions now, guys. Here's my positions, right? So the positions that I did right, not very many. I'll agree with you. Only about $200 in premium that I did right this week with the positions that I previously closed in the week and these existing ones currently. So you will see that all of these have closed pretty much worthless. Apple ending above 175, AMD ending above 103, QCOM ending above 108. You'll see that right here. So 108.66 on the close. So we ended worthless, pocket all of this premium as well. And UPS ending above 152.50. QCOM very juicy here. If it's there next week, I may even try to play the 107s, 105s if it's there as well. UPS also, if UPS continues to hover around this 152, 150 area, I'll be looking to play it there as well. Today, ending above 152, so we'll see if that persists. And unfortunately, the losers for my portfolio that have been contributing to the downside, you see the numbers right here on the right-hand side, right? PayPal down again, now down $2,000 on this one, 200 shares, right? So you'll see CSIQ, $3,000 down on this one, and my banks, $2,000. So we are running some decent unrealized losses, guys. The thing is that I love every single one of these positions. It's just they've not been cooperating in this high interest rate environment. It's negative for these three companies. So we will have to wait for a slight tapering off of yields. And that may only come here when Jerome Powell gives his next meeting here. So you'll see also my average costs for these. I show them every time. Coca-Cola, we're still down on them, right? Assigned at 55 with the premium, 54.66 average cost. So as soon as we get back up, guys, in the $54, $55 level, I'll be able to write some covered calls. Not nervous, guys. It's Coca-Cola. In my opinion, Coca-Cola is at a beautiful discount right here, all the way back to 2021 level. So 2-year price discount on Coca-Cola. For some reason, if we pull back to 50, I'll probably be writing more options here in the 50s. I only have 100 shares, and that's not a very big position for me, so may even consider writing more. PayPal, you see, we're down about over $10 per share on that, 200 shares. My TMF position, this is the play on the 20-year yields, has been coming down as the yields have been rising. So I'm not going to average into it yet. If we continue spiking up, I'll do probably 1 or 2 more average ins. Want to get into about 500 plus shares. So a couple more positions coming. CSIQ, we're down pretty much 7 over $7.50 per share right here on 400 shares. Unfortunate. I need to see CSIQ come back up to 26.27 to be able to start writing calls. My cost basis is 28.30-ish if you consider all premium. And lastly, my Canadian banks were down about $2.20 per share on about 950 shares. So pretty heavy position for me, but I do believe in the Canadian bank recovery story, but it may only come in the next few months here. So just patiently waiting, and eventually all these realized losses will be performing well. But on a weekly basis, guys, we continue to generate premium, and that's the name of the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. That's all I had for you guys. Hope you guys had a good week in trading here. Next week, keep an eye, lot of big earnings, gonna start off our earnings season. And as usual, if you like the video, consider liking, consider subscribing if you're new here. And as always, I love you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comments. Take care. Have a great weekend. Peace.